Business now on the programme. If you can hear a little snoring offset, it's not from me or Kate, but we are finding it a little difficult this morning, aren't we, Kate? Because Europe has switched to daylight savings time, winding those clocks forward by an hour. And although they change can make it harder to get out of bed, which for us is very difficult because we get out of bed earlier anyway, there are some concrete benefits, aren't there?
Exactly. And as you might expect, Stuart, it is all about business. Now, changing the clocks cuts energy consumption and boosts economic activity because people tend to do more shopping and in general spend more money when the daytime lasts longer. Now, here in France, it's only the 40th year of changing the clocks. It was introduced in March 1976 following the oil crisis. Other countries had introduced the practice during the First World War. The UK, for example, is marking its 100th anniversary of the first British summertime. And one of the first documented proposals actually dates back to Benjamin Franklin, who wrote about the benefits of saving candles and giving farmers more daylight hours to work in the fields back in the 1780s. Fernand Ventetz has more.
An extra hour of daylight at the end of the day, allowing more time for shopping and less time with the lights on. The setting back of clocks was first introduced during the First World War to save on coal usage. The idea picked up traction again during the oil crisis of 1973, when energy prices soared. Yet it remains a distinctly North American and European tradition, with only Iceland, Russia and Belarus opting out. Most of African and Asian nations never adopted daylight saving time or have given up the practice. Some countries just can't seem to agree on the benefits. Only parts of Australia adopt the changes, and holdouts in the US include Hawaii and most of Arizona. The extra hour of daylight is today still credited with saving energy, though you can always do more.
The
turning back of the clocks, it's the kind of idea which turns consumers into actors. But today there are loads of other tools available as well, like insulating buildings, more accurate electricity counters, etc. So consumers have a role to play in saving energy. It's a good thing because it definitely allows us to save a bit of energy. We know that the least polluting energy is energy that isn't consumed at all.
Sacrificing an hour of sleep won't just save you energy. Changing the clocks is sent to reduce traffic accidents and even crime.
Clocks changing, markets, some of them are chinking along, aren't they? How are they faring this Monday?
Well, pretty light trading in Asia as most markets do reopen after that long Easter weekend. The Nikkei leading gains bolstered by a weaker yen. Sharp shares are up about 4% as it nears a rescue deal that will see it taken over by the Taiwanese manufacturer Foxconn. That could come later this week. European markets will stay closed this Monday. Let's move on to some of the day's other business headlines now. The Al-Jazeera network has announced plans to slash 500 jobs, mostly in its home base of Qatar. Earlier this year, Al-Jazeera said 700 jobs would be lost as it shut down its American cable news channel after consistently low ratings. The state-funded broadcaster is struggling to tighten its budgets while the Qatari government deals with a global slump in oil prices and revenue. The UK's Independent newspaper published its last print edition this weekend as it transitions to an online-only format. The paper, which was in print for 30 years, ended its run with an exclusive on an alleged assassination plot against a former Saudi king. The Independent's publishers have said they're trying to keep up with the changing face of journalism, which they say has altered beyond recognition. And the film Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice has raked in $424 million during its first 5 days in cinemas worldwide. That's the fourth highest box office debut ever. The saga bringing together the two superheroes is a welcome boost for Warner Brothers Studios, despite widely negative reviews.
And we're going to end on a rather topical note. Chocolate. I've had enough of it this weekend, I have to be honest. But it is the favoured treat at Easter time. And there's a new push now for the countries that actually grow cocoa beans. This is for them to actually produce the final product as well, isn't it, Kate?
Yeah, exactly. About 2/3 of cocoa beans are grown in Western Africa. Ivory Coast and Ghana are the top two producers. But the US, Switzerland, Germany, and Belgium are actually where the most chocolate is actually produced. Companies there actually rake in the most benefits. Now, on average, cocoa growers receive just 6% of the price that consumers pay for chocolate. African processed chocolate accounts for just 2% of global sales. And in the Ivory Coast, there's now a push to produce more chocolate where the beans are actually grown.
We are encouraging Ivorians to consume their own products, especially seeing it's a product created without additives, no artificial colours or preservatives.
Something to get our taste buds going.
Exactly. I'm open to all kinds of chocolate. I have to
Any
say.
kind, okay. Even after a weekend of eating it. All right, Kate. Thank you very much. Kate with the business on France 24.